Hey y'all, welcome back to Tuesday Tallies. I am trying to keep myself on schedule now as we go forward. I think I have settled into 2025 about as well as I can, and I'm going to try to get this thing on schedule. I have missed, I don't know, about 4 or 5 weeks of Tuesday Tallies, and I've actually missed them. So I'm going to run through this one pretty quickly because I did record this earlier this morning and went to upload it so that I could post it for you guys, and it wouldn't upload. So I'm going to go quickly this time. The last video was an hour long because there's so much that has changed in the garden, and I'm not going to go through all that detail this time. It's just going to be quick, and we'll try to catch up as we go through each week of Tuesday Tallies. Let's get it going. So we have the beans that are sitting out here waiting on me to move them to their permanent spot. There's a couple that I need to reseed. It looks like the Kentucky Wonder pole beans need to be reseeded. However, I don't even know where they're going yet, so I probably shouldn't do that. These beans are overdue for a little bit of fertilizer, so I'm going to get that done in the next couple of days. Thinking about pulling out the evolvulus that's here and planting my gladiolus bulbs or corms, whichever one they go by. I don't know. It's so confusing. They're all bulbs to me. I need to do a lot of hedge trimming and tree trimming. I'll be getting to that stuff this week as well. The things over here just need to be cleaned up, weeded, and I need to get the mulch down. It is a bit of a struggle to get the mulch out. Those bags are 3 cubic feet and they are always filled with moisture because of our humidity. So I have to dump it into a cart and drag it around. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I may pull this plant out. I may just trim it back. I'll have to figure that out. Got a lot of cleanup that needs to be done over here. We've been focusing a lot on the other sides of the house. So just ignore the craziness that is here. These hibiscus are just, I don't know, they're going through it. And I'm going to have to work on that. The green stalk is filled with, I think I got 3 tomato plants in there and a lot of mustard greens. But because our weather has been unseasonably hot, those mustards all need to be pulled. And honestly, I need to pull all of my mustards from everywhere. They are succumbing to the heat. Strawberries are starting to bloom and give us some strawberries. We've got a little berry form in there. And down in the middle of here, we've got some flowers and berries coming on there. Just coming around the corner here, I'm just going to show you a couple of the tomatoes. They are still producing and they are ripening on the vine. Here, these are the brown gumdrop, and I've got some yellow pear. This yellow pear, that particular one, has actually been ripe for almost a week, and so it is splitting. As long as there's not any bugs in it, I'll give it to the guineas. They'll eat it. But I need to go ahead and pull the rest of the mustards that are in the green stalk out because they can't handle this heat that we've been getting. Now, we are right now looking at a cool down, which is so sporadic because we will actually be cooler than seasonable typically. And so some of the plants will be happy about that. But because for the past 3.5 weeks or so, it's been so hot. In the evenings, we're down into the 50s and 60s. But in the daytime, we are almost at 90 degrees and at 100% humidity. So this is what happens to the mustards in that kind of weather. So I need to just go ahead and pull them all out. Let's see. I know I'm going to forget a lot of the names of the plants as I'm walking because as I was doing the first video, I forgot every single one of them. And that's probably what helped to make the video so long, but let's see what we can do now. We got my Phaeus that is blooming. Nice buds on that. So we're going to have some very, very pretty flowers coming here soon. And we've got a Phragmipedium that's blooming as well. A couple of the other orchids are pushing buds. The Trichoglottis, of course, is always blooming. This is probably the happiest orchid that I have. This is the other Phaeus that's blooming. And this is a Lucidia or something like that. Can't think of the name of it, but it is in bloom as well. This guy is blooming. Can you see that flower? No, let me see if I can get it in the center. That one is blooming for the first time. The pansies down at the bottom are starting to go out because of the heat. This cool down for this next week might actually help it out. I'm not sure what's going on with our weather. It is doing its own thing, that is for sure. I did go ahead and fertilize all of the fruit trees. This is the pomelo that was planted over in that area. I did go ahead and move it and got it there. I put in a couple of fuchsias, and I know you guys noticed that I'm walking on stepping stones that were not originally here, just because I was wearing the grass out walking along these spots. This is a Supertunia Vista bubblegum that I put in just to fill in some space. Yes, I know it is going to overtake the walking path, but I just needed something here to give my pollinators more variety, things that they can come to and hang out with and, you know, just be happy. The ageratum, I did pull out quite a bit of the ageratum, but I always leave some because I actually like those pretty little blooms. They just seed themselves everywhere. We're starting to set out a lot of the seedlings. Wherever I can carve some space, I'm just dropping them in. You guys will see a video update of the corn, but since I'm here walking, this is one. I'm not sure which one this is. I think this is Bilicious. Don't quote me because I don't remember. We've got some salvias that are doing some fun things here. We've got lots of color over here. This bed just needs to be weeded and mulch needs to go down. Here's the progress on some of the zinnias. I believe this one is Polar Bear. Not sure. I'm not sure which one that one is. I just kind of threw them all down there. We've been getting some strawberries off of these three plants. The aloe I thought was going to lose its bloom after I divided all of its pups, and nope, it's doing great. It's doing great. I think it likes this spot. I put in a couple of other plants here, more zinnias. Of course, the foxglove I just picked up as I was walking around the store. There's that first one that I'm always gonna forget a name. What's this thing called? Jesus. I don't feel like bending down there to get that tag. What the heck is this thing called? Oh crap. I don't know. I'll think of it later and I'll tell you. The orchids on the trees are doing pretty good. Let's see. The rose got me. The collards that are in the containers are doing pretty good. I started moving out the okras. I will need to find a spot for the others. I have about 10 more that need to come out here. We got a new thermometer put in so that I can, at a glance, tell what's going on out here. The tulips are a bust for this year. It just got entirely too hot. If I had purchased my tulips a little bit earlier, I would have been able to get them in before the end of December, and I would have gotten some blooms. But I mean, we did stay unseasonably cool for a really, really long time, but by the time I got them in, it just wasn't enough time for them to push through the soil and bloom and give me the show. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on them. I only bought 20 tulip bulbs this year. So, you know, it's okay. It's all right. I'm going to try to get my tulips ordered a little bit earlier this year. The problem is no one wants to ship them. They don't take into consideration that us southern gardeners need to get our tulips much earlier so that we can get them refrigerated. So I'm going to try. I'll see what happens. Autumn Debutante is not very happy. She needs a little bit of fertilizer, but she did bloom very, very well for me this year. The pond plants, of course, are extremely happy. I don't have to do anything with those guys at all. I do need to do a little bit of trimming on the fan flowers. They are taking over my walkway and coming out into the grass, which my lawn guys do not like at all when my plants come out into the grass. But you know what? They'll get over it. They're covering up my little statue, though. I do need to trim some of this down so that these guys don't suffocate. Everything here is waking up. I've got some, I don't know if this mic is still on. I hope it is. I've got some lantana, the white lantana here, and then we've got the tricolor, the purple, orange, and pink that is now blooming. It's been a while. Those guys are actually in pots, and I need to probably think about taking them out of the pots. But when they're still doing what they're supposed to do, I don't see the need to force them. These pentas are probably about 3 years old at this point. I need to come in and do a really, really hard prune on them and take out all of this top growth. Probably will take it all the way back down past the spider webs and into this growth and just whack it all off and see what happens with it. Most of the time it will come out of that and flush new growth for me. My salvias are looking great. I've been watching these guys out the window for some time now. They are just gorgeous. When I got these from the All Native Garden Center in Fort Myers, they were really scraggly sticks. If you guys go back and look at a couple of the old videos, all of it looked like these sticks. That's what the entire plant looked like. So we are just about a year, not quite, almost a year with these plants. So I think they're happy. I think they're happy. I'm loving them. The radishes that I planted in the tower, almost all of them germinated and are doing okay. I've got a couple blank spots. Pretty sure that the birds yanked them out because I do remember most of these germinated. Couple of plants down here. The pelargonium's doing good. The pansies are going out, so I need to think about putting something else in that small container. The dianthus is doing great. This parsley that I found growing in the grass, I pulled out and stuck it in this pot, and it has been doing great ever since. The collards still doing pretty good. The carrots are doing nice. I will pop in some seedlings that I have in the house to grow along with these carrots. I might drop a tomato in here, I'm not sure. Need to do a little bit of weeding over here and more fertilizing for the Lespedeza. I might come in and cut off a lot of its branches and then fertilize it so that it can push completely new growth while I'm cleaning out the weeds that are in here. This bed actually had a ton of ferns planted around this oak tree. I pulled them all out and you can see they are coming back. So Ferns are hard to get rid of, guys. We have more azaleas here. I think these are autumn starburst and autumn sunburst, something like that. They just need to be fertilized, and I'm going to do a good cut back of them. They did bloom nicely. There are a couple of buds still opening up on them, but for the most part, they're done. I'm going to go ahead and cut them back and try to force some new growth on them so that they can fill in with new branches. This is the Blue Point Juniper. I've been watering it pretty regularly to stop the browning in the middle. It just wasn't getting hit with the sprinklers enough, and it was suffering because of that. My slash pine has put on a little bit of growth. It's gotten a little bit taller, not much. It's not a super fast grower, so not expecting too much from it. I do still have a jasmine down here in a pot that has been neglected. I need to find a spot for that and put it in the ground. That bougainvillea has been showing off for weeks now. The birds have emptied all of their feeders and they are begging me to refill them. I'm not sure that I will do it this week. I may force them to go find their own food for a couple weeks. I don't know. These begonias are filling nicely, more than nicely, and they're doing more than I thought that they would. I do need to figure out what's going on with the waffle plant. I thought that it would fill in a little bit better over here, but it seems to be struggling. I don't know that it likes its spot. The Helen von Stein is quite happy. Those things have grown exponentially since I put them in. This waffle plant, I was expecting it to fill in all of this space within a couple months, and it hasn't. I'm going to leave it there, but I don't know, maybe some fertilizer will help it. Of course, I've always got a ton of weeds. They're hiding my alligator. I need to do some fertilizing over here. We've got a lizard who is sunbathing on the solar panel. I mean, it is a wildlife habitat, so I guess this is okay. He is as happy as a clam there. Do need to do quite a bit of fertilizing over here, though, so I think I'm going to just do a broadcast of fertilizer. Not sure I'm going to come in with any liquid. I probably need to, though, because we've got a lot of yellowing going on in pretty much everything. The snapdragons are going out. It's getting a little bit too warm. These past few weeks have just been too much for it. The lavender is just about done. If you look down close in there, you can see that lavender it's not a happy camper right now. So I'll have to find something else to fill in there in that space. But there's a lot of life going on out here. Everything's coming in bloom. And pretty soon we are going to have so many flowers that there is going to be an influx of pollinators hanging out in the garden. The salvia that I had planted here, these are like a lavender color. I planted these a couple years ago and they died back and just disappeared for a while, but they're pushing new growth. Not upset about it. The paper whites. I planted the paper whites shortly after Christmas. I guess maybe it was right after New Year's. I found them at Lowe's on clearance and I dropped them in here. I missed filming the blooms. It was a beautiful show of paper whites. So I'm hoping that these will have enough energy to come back for me year after year. Time to trim this lantana. It's getting a little wild and crazy. Now that it's got some new growth coming in on it, I feel pretty good about coming back and trimming it. I find that with the lantana, when it's dormant, if you do a whole lot of trimming on it, it can die. I've killed several that way. The sunflowers that were dropped in this bed are coming up pretty good. I am going to put a few more. That is a giant sunflower. I'm going to put a few other sunflowers in here as well. You guys can see the corn is doing pretty good. There is a video of me fertilizing the gardenia and also this hibiscus, so you guys will see that sometime this week. I moved this orchid out here from one of the fruit trees over by the screen, and I'm gonna see how that one does out here. The ones on the tree seem to be doing pretty good. This guy's gonna bloom. I can't remember if this one has ever bloomed before. I know the fragrant one, let me see if I can zoom in on it. This one blooms at least twice a year for me. I don't think this particular one has bloomed yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Looks like I'm gonna get, what is that, 7 flowers? Not bad, not bad. The hibiscus are doing what hibiscus do. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the hibiscus on this side because they are doing just fine. These guys are almost 6 feet tall, so I just let them do what they do. That is the Green Cascade Japanese maple. I did water and fertilize it the other day, so hopefully it will be okay this year. Coming around this side, everything here, meteor shower verbena. We've got a loropetalum that did have pretty flowers on it, and now it's looking like it's struggling to flower. So I don't know if it's done or, you know, if something else is going on with it. It did have really, really pretty color on it a little bit ago. It has been fertilized because I dropped fertilizer in as I was putting in the foxglove and the supertunia and the verbenas. I don't know what this hibiscus is. It was originally planted where the verbenas are. It died back. It has dropped seed everywhere, and I don't know if you can see that one down there. They pop up in the grass, and this one I chose to leave it there since I had put other plants in its original place. I am going to underplant the red maple with something, not sure what yet. I've got so much going on that I don't know. It's just day by day. The collards over here are doing pretty good. I probably should start harvesting off of all of the collards before the critters make their way underneath the netting. We've got a pretty rose bloom. This salvia always does great for me. I think this is Rock and Play in the Blues. I don't think that's Blue Suede Shoes. I think that's Rock and Play in the Blues. More lizards hanging out with me today. Hiding behind the clerodendron. The clerodendron has been getting a lot of action from the hummingbirds lately. I usually have one hanging over my shoulder screaming at me because it wants me to move so that it can get to the clerodendron. Today, he's not up there. I'm sure he'll be here soon. I do need to reseed the tower here with herbs. Some of them did not germinate. Some did. Some have been cut. Some have been yanked out. But I'll reseed that as well. I did drop in a couple of lettuces into this window box here. I don't know what's going to happen with them. With the cool down, they might make it and I might be able to get something off of them. But, you know, I'm just really trying to get the rest of those seedlings out of my house. I do not like having live plants in my house. Beans are coming along. My Hudson River clematis is not dead, but it's not thriving. I believe it was just in way too much shade. I have since cut the philodendron back, and I'm going to try to keep it cut back because it honestly should be all the way out here where this geranium is, by now. It's been in the ground long enough that it should have put on some more growth. The grapevine is waking up. The lizards are out in masses today. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but they're everywhere. um, Chives, we cut on these chives pretty often. I use them and toss them in dishes that I'm cooking. Uh, the salvias are, of course, all back and doing good. I don't know the name of this particular salvia, but I love the bloom on it. It is the daintiest little thing, and I just love salvias. Got a lot going on down here, but I need to finish weeding. Um, Makawa Yatsubusa, the Japanese maple, finally dropped all of its leaves and the buds are swelling on it, so it is going to be leafing out here soon. This is a Valencia orange. I got a lot of buds. Now, I did pull this guy out of the pot to fertilize it and give it some new soil top off, and I am pretty sure that I shocked it because half of its root ball ripped in half. And I don't know what's going to happen if I'm going to get a single orange this year. I'm hopeful. We'll see what happens with that as well. The Jersey Wakefield cabbage is still growing. I doubt that I'm going to get ahead because I am starting to see some aphids chewing on it, sucking the life out of it, I should say. The kales are doing pretty good. I don't know, y'all. I mean, I think the garden looks good right now. Of course, there's always a lot to do. It's always got a ton of weeds, but I think it looks good. I am very, very happy when I come out here. Here's another lizard. We have a ton of these guys. Hopefully you guys aren't scared of lizards because I keep showing them to you. Sorry about that if you are. Dropped in a couple of summer squashes there. And I am trying out a method from another YouTuber, mothball water, to help keep the moths from coming and laying squash vine borers on my squashes. I can't very well cover them because I need them pollinated. So I'm trying it out. When you sit next to it, you do smell the mothballs, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I do have quite a few spider webs that are on the trellis, the tomato cages there, so maybe that'll also help with keeping the moths out of there, but we'll see. I did set up the Mr. Stacky. I separated the tower into 2 stacks, and it is sitting on a 27-gallon storage tub with water and fertilizer in it. I planted this up with beans, dragon tongue, and a butter wax bean. So the solar power comes from those panels. And I know it looks really creepy in the camera, but it does tell me what the water level is and what my countdown is for when it's going to water. And it's working pretty good. So I am gonna check this out. I'll keep you guys posted and see if it's worth you doing. I got these from Amazon. It's just a solar powered plant watering system, and it comes with everything that you need to set it up. So if it works, I'll keep you posted. So far, so good. I did not want to punch into my existing drip line because that drip line goes all the way out into the peninsula and back across all the way around, and it's losing water pressure because I keep putting more holes in it to water new things. So just to try to combat that, I decided to go solar, and so far so good. We'll see. We'll go quickly in here. The basils that I put in here, some germinated, some did not. I'll reseed that. my green onions, the bunching onions here. I believe there's 4 different bunching onions. They're doing pretty good. Some of these pups from the aloe are struggling, but for the most part, they are all pushing new leaves from the middle. So I'll start giving those guys away soon. These are broccolis that are struggling because we got this heat spell. I figured I would go ahead and try to get the broccolis in and get them to produce, but I did not have a whole lot of hope for them because I knew it was going to start to warm up and they weren't going to be happy. So if I get ahead, then we'll eat it. If not, it's not because I didn't try. Just next year, I'm going to be a little bit more vigilant for fighting off these rats. My kohlrabi and turnips that I did come in and put here did get attacked by the rats. I did find some little feet in my concoction, so I know it was them. They chewed down most of my seedlings that I had moved out of the house at my last ditch effort to try to get kohlrabi and turnips. But I did get a chance to drop in these cloches. So I'm hoping that I'll at least get these 2 kohlrabis that have survived. I'll at least get 2. And if I can get 3 or 4 turnips, out of what's here, the heat is now what I'm fighting with these cool weather crops. We are in another cold front, and I say that lightly because it's not getting cold, but we are cooling down into the 50s and 40s. So it's like my last hope to be able to get anything out of these brassicas. I'm pretty sure I've lost my rutabagas, but I don't really care because I don't eat them anyway. I was growing them for my mom. She cooks them for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I was just growing those things for her. She was looking forward to them. Be a little sad that she won't get them, but next year I'll try again and see if I can combat these rats. All of the bunching onions that I had seeded here have disappeared. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna go ahead and plant more. The mint that I dropped in, this is 2, maybe 3 weeks. I think it's 2 that this mint has been here, and you can see that it is vining everywhere and it is going to take over this bed. Do not put mint in the ground. Just a note. All right, I'll get out of here. We got one little romaine lettuce that is still surviving here. I'm sure it tastes horrible. Actually, I'm going to taste it right now. It's been hot. It's not going to seed yet, but it usually gets bitter before it actually goes to seed. I'm going to taste it. Let me taste one of the older leaves. It's not bad. It's still edible. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a little nibble. Got some snapdragons here that I had purchased and just never got put in the ground. I just dropped them there. It's the last chance for them to do anything. This is the east side of the house, so it stays relatively cool over here. The sun doesn't beat this area down. So I just dropped them there to give them a chance to do whatever they want to do before they peter out. This mustard is totally engulfed with aphids. I'm not even going to show them to you because it's really disgusting to see. So I'm just leaving them there. I did have some ladybugs here a couple days ago. I'll let the ladybugs do what they do. As long as I've got aphids here, the ladybugs will stay. So that's that. This is the rest of the aloe pups, and I was telling you, some of them are doing great. Like that one. That one's doing great. This one is actually doing great. A couple of them are struggling, but I have enough of them that survived the separation. I'll start giving these guys away to my neighbors and such. I did get some mulch over here. The passion vine has come back from our winter weather and it is growing again. I've got tons of spiders. I don't know if you can see them in the camera, but I got tons of spiders that are setting up camp everywhere. And y'all, I like my spiders. I like my snakes. They do what they're supposed to do, and they control so many of the things that I don't want hanging around the garden. So I just let them do it. I've got a love bug. I don't know if you guys can see it. It just keeps flying back into my face and then going away. So coming around this side, I've got the green rose that produces nothing but sepals. I missed its bloom, and so I'll have to look for that later on in the year. It will bloom again for me. Hopefully I can catch that one on video for you guys. This bird of paradise is horribly in need of some care. This thing is just doing the most. The Tabasco peppers I have been pulling off of here every other week, so I will be coming back out here next week to harvest more peppers. Everything that I put in these pots is doing pretty good, except for that one rose. There was a miniature rose here that was not happy about me pulling it out and repotting it, so it has died. But everything else over here is doing great. The Swiss chard is all from the tower that now has the radishes in it. After I had harvested the 4th time from them, I went ahead and pulled them out, and here they are, living on some more days of life and being allowed to come to a bigger size. Swiss chard will get huge, but in a small container, it's going to stay small. And I basically was harvesting those as baby greens. Easy to saute those and put them in with other vegetables and potatoes or in a salad. And the guineas did get to eat quite a few. So now they're here and you can see they're getting pretty big. You're starting to see the colors a little bit better now. In those little small containers that I had them growing in the Dollar Tree tower, the biggest that they would get is about this size. And so next to my hand, you can see, you know, it's not a very big Swiss chard. But then you look at this one that is being allowed to grow, and you look at the leaf next to my hand, you know, it's putting on a lot of growth. These are a bulbing onion, and they're doing pretty good. I'm not sure which one this one is. It may be white Creole, but I'm pretty sure it's a white onion. We need to do some trimming up here. We get some things done up here. We've got the garlic that is not doing as well as it could be because it's not getting quite enough sun. We've got some eggplant that was just recently put down here in this spot. As it grows, it will start to get more sun. Yeah, peppers are flowering and we will start to get nice peppers on here. We do have one good pepper back here that's starting to put on some color. I'm going to go ahead and take that one and use it for dinner tonight. The carrots in this bed are looking great. I do need to come in and do a little bit of thinning in this spot especially, because there are a few that are like right on top of each other. But the rest of them, I think I thinned them out pretty good. The garlic in this bed and in this pot are doing okay. We've got a couple of them that are struggling, like that one. I just think it doesn't get ample water in that spot. But I'm going to come in and drop in some other things. I did put a winter squash. I think this one is the red curry winter squash. It will fill in this bed, but I also dropped in some purple basil and some parsley. I've got a couple salvias back here just to kind of help with pollination so that there's flowers available, making the pollinators come by. This desert rose is about to bloom. It's looking pretty good. There's one bud there, and then there's buds here. So it's going to bloom soon. The copper leaf is due for a trim. The clerodendron is coming back out of its hard prune. The Rio Samba rose needs to be deadheaded. Ponytail palm's doing good. These kales are putting out new leaves after the rats came and finally found it. The evolvulus and the mums here are pretty happy. Time for some deadheading. It is time for some fertilizing. I don't know, y'all. There's just a lot going on out here right now. I did seed all of these containers with herbs, and you can see some of them germinated, some did not. Some of the ones that did germinate, the rats decided to come and yank them out and eat them. So I do need to reseed a few. And let's finish up on the front. Got some garlic in this pot. Doing pretty good. And I pretty much just need to pull some weeds and throw down some mulch up here and be done. I need to finish getting the rest of these Christmas lights out. Kelsey was like, why did I leave that? I pulled out all the lights except for 2, maybe 3. Because I think there's one on that one and one on the plant back there. And then I know there's one on the plant over here. And the bougainvillea, doing good. But I need to do something here. I need to get these Christmas lights out. And then we have some garlic growing there. So that's it, y'all. That is what's going on in the garden this Tuesday. I am going to, like I said, work really hard. Let me get back so that you can see my face. I'm going to work really hard and try to make sure I film a Tuesday tally every week. I don't want the Tuesday tallies to be as long as this video is, but because you hadn't seen the garden in its entirety in a while, I wanted to go ahead and take a little bit of time to show you everything that I've been doing and what's coming up. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I've got a lot to do. Not going to be getting any work done in the garden today, but you do have a couple videos coming this week. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.